Today, I'm on behalf of missionlaunch.com, where we provide conscious leadership and business consulting. But that's not what I'm calling this afternoon. Today, this is my inaugural broadcast. You can see we're testing some of the equipment, and we really haven't yet settled in on exactly all of what we're going to be doing or trying to set up for you as we go forward with these conversations. But the purpose behind them is what you should probably understand as to why we're doing this and what we hope to accomplish with it. I don't think I need to tell you that our world is in a heap of trouble. Things are a mess out there, and we seem to be doing everything within our power to make it worse. We are splintering off into all these different special interest groups based on nationality or race or religion, and it's happening throughout the world. And the groups seem to be splintering among themselves as well. So that what's happening is we're seeing all these groups fighting with each other. It seems to be a situation of the world is escalating and moving itself toward a brink where nobody can get along with anyone. Superimposed upon that situation of this escalating conflict around the world, the problems that we see in our political arena, and this broadcast is being done in the United States, so I will speak mostly of what's happening here in America, but it is certainly not limited here. These are the same problems I'm seeing happening elsewhere too. But our problems with our political system right now are putting us very much up against a wall. We're going to be faced to make a choice as to whether this system is going to stand or fail, whether we're going to move forward with it as is, or try to modify the system. We're going to have to make a decision that it can't be done, scrap it, and then the system as it operates is one that feeds into the human nature of getting for oneself. We live in a capitalist system where people are theoretically free to pursue the careers and business ends that they want to pursue for themselves. But there are really no restraints upon those. And as we've seen, the business that we had has been performed over the last several hundred years, and particularly here in the recent decades, is that business is done with an eye on the bottom line and pretty much very little else. If customers are not screaming, if the government is not on their back, they go ahead and do whatever they think they want. The problem is many of the businesses are doing things that are hurting the world around them. They are, I guess the term I want to use is unconscious. That they have no awareness of what's going on, their relationship with the world around them, and what they are doing to it, or doing to the people that they interact with. And we see this through business practices all around the world. Many companies, you just want to pull your hair out every time you get off the phone with them, because they just don't seem to care about the customers. And often it's the same way with their employees as well. They don't care about them either. So they are continually in a position where they are doing something that's not necessarily in the best interest of anyone but themselves. And the same attitude of me first is causing these businesses to do harm to the environment. It's causing them to create products and practices that can do harm to people, or that can endanger our economy, or endanger our national welfare or international peace. Basically, they just go run roughshod over everyone and everything that gets in their way. And it is this mindset of me first that has to change. Because if we continue on like this path, and those extremes that are fighting everywhere we turn, that they have no option but to fight to get their way. And if we want to create a better world, we're either going to have to hope that somebody can fight and win and defeat everyone else, which is probably not going to happen, not going to make everybody else very happy. Or we're going to have to find a way to do it peacefully and harmoniously and in a manner that expands the environment for all people and all boats to rise as the waters of society go up. But that's not what's happening. We have created a world of has and have not. And it seems to be happening everywhere you turn. Just yesterday, we were driving down Interstate 75 here in South Florida, and they're building these beautiful new lanes down the center between the north and southbound lane. But those lanes aren't going to be available to the public. They're not going to be available for those who pay for usage. In other words, it's an overflow lane that you have to pay to use, to pay to play, or pay to drive. And in this situation, it's going to be that those who have money are not going to think twice about spending it and going and taking advantage of getting out of traffic once it's found to build. But so everyone else is going to be left in the slow lane. And this is what's happening throughout our world, is that we're building a fast lane for the elites, those with money, those with power, those with influence. And we're building a slow lane for everyone else. And with everyone else, I'm lucky that we have a slow lane. We should be appreciative of the fact that we built it, but all of this is being built with our money. Yet we are building in this system of winner loser, haves and have nots, that we're not equal. And if you have to do something in your advantage, that's okay. The system's going to reward you for that. And it's going to take those that don't have the means and say, okay, you guys go off to the side. I talked about the new speed lanes they're putting in. They've done that several other places in South Florida, one of which is on I-95 going down from the Broward County line going down downtown Miami. I've seen, and the rate changes based upon what the traffic is, but I've seen the rate as high as $8. Drive a distance, maybe 5 or 10 miles, where everybody else next to it is going for free. Well, when they built their one on I-95, they didn't even leave room to pull cars off the side of the road in case of an accident or a breakdown. So they have all kinds of problems and hassles there. So even those that may be paying $8 can get stuck in a long traffic because they can't get past the obstruction that is built in because of the stupid design that the Florida Department of Transportation enacted in trying to do this kind of a system. And my purpose is not here to bash upon our transportation. They're really hard to do this as best they can within the limited resources that we provide them. And again, that's part of the problem, is that we only provide enough money so that they can do it one way. But they think that by doing it this way, by separating it, they can make it so that the rest of the lanes will run smoothly, and it's okay to have the overflow for those who want to pay more. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. But it's this have and have not mentality which is dividing us. It is our way that we see the world that's causing us to act certain ways toward each other and in the conduct of our affairs. It is this have and have not mentality that is behind the corporate effort to amass profits, because they're trying to become haves. The object of going into many of these businesses is to generate profit. And generating profit is not a bad thing. But there comes a point where you have to ask, at what price does generating profit become moderated by the effect upon the people in a society in which it's lived, in the environment in which everything occurs? And this is what's happening, is that we are not in most instances, considering these. So what we've tried to do is set up a way to help people develop the perspective, practice necessary that they shift the way they see and interact with the reality they live in, so that they have the ability to make a different choice than just me first. And believe me, there are times when me first is important. You have to take care of yourself. You can't expect somebody else to take care of you, because they won't. And you discover that those who depend upon the government service don't get taken care of very well anyway. They're barely given money for subsistence living, if that. And they have to game the system just to be able to survive. But this is the way we have. We go out and take money from everybody, and then we dole it out little by little with all these strings attached to try to control everybody and everything. Well, the world that I want to share with you is not a world of control. It's not a world that requires people to take from others or to do for themselves while ignoring how it affects others or the world around them. It is a world where people live in harmony, in cooperative effort, serving the greater good just as much as they serve themselves. I'm not talking about serving others before self. I'm just talking about bringing them up here alongside, like you would make a decision to affect your own family. That when you do something in your family, you care about the people that you are with, that you love, and so you make decisions that are benefit them as well as yourself. And the really difficult ones are the ones you have to come down to and make a choice between you, or where you start allocating your time, attention, and resources between one or the other. And that's hard to pick who's going to win and by how much, and who's not. So we have a vision of a society that doesn't require this, that doesn't require these kind of control by government over those who won't do the right thing. Because we want to change the people behind the businesses so that they know and always choose to do the right thing, and that they know what the right thing is, and that what is the right thing for them is also the right thing for everybody else. This is not about sacrifice. This is about serving the greater good. Now, it's going to be difficult for you to accept some of these concepts if they interfere with or bump up against your own spiritual or personal beliefs. So one of the things in our course of our conversations as we go forward is I'm going to be asking you a lot of questions to ask you to try to identify how you feel, what you believe, how you see things, but also to see how that differs or how that affects the overall situation that you're working to create. If you're seeing things simply in one perspective, maybe it won't allow you the choice that you need in the moment to serve others as well as yourself. Or maybe it won't allow you to serve yourself and feel like you're sacrificing in order to do something for somebody else. And that's not what we want. We don't want you to sacrifice to do good. We don't want you to sacrifice to help others. We want you to do so out of the course of your own life, your own existence, because that is how we hope that you will be and become caring, loving, peaceful, productive, engaging, and harmonious with the world around you. This is what we're going to try to get to here for our subsequent hangout. And our schedule at this point looks like we'll be recording on Wednesdays here and continuing on in the afternoons. And again, if you'd like to visit us at missionlaunch.com, you can get a schedule there of our upcoming broadcasts as we put them up. And also you can also learn about our Conscious Leadership Forum. Because again, Mission Launch is not just about creating this harmonious environment. It's about changing the way people see and relate and interact with each other. And the first place that we want to do that, and that we're focusing upon doing that, is in those people that are in positions of leadership. This is leadership within the government at all levels. This is leadership within your business at all levels. Even down to the very lowest workers can be leaders if they see themselves as such and how they conduct themselves. What we're trying to do is enable them to do business and conduct their affairs in a different way than is just simply seeing themselves as having to serve themselves first and foremost. This is not an easy situation to be in when you are having to look at a situation and say, okay, who's serving? We're going to get into that in future episodes, the same trying to decide, well, how do I balance these interests? And that's important, and that's part of why we need to be conscious leaders, because conscious leaders is now a process by which you begin to see and understand what's going on inside you and the hidden factors that make them. When you understand this, then you will begin to have the chance to change. And this is how we talk about changing the world. We're going to change your world by changing you. I can't promise you that you're going to change because that's going to be up to you. You may already believe and practice everything that I'm talking about. That may be no reason to change. Or you may hear it and just totally discount it for yourself. And that's okay. I'm not trying to impress upon you that this way is the right way only. What I'm trying to do is loosen the hold of your beliefs and how you see things so that you can consider other perspectives. Because we want to create a nimbleness of mind that will allow you to process things without being attached to the way things are now. The status quo is the way it is for a reason. And part of that reason is the way you are. And some of the ways things have think about you and about me and about others support that status quo. And some of those things are good. And some of those things benefit us. But some of the things that we have that we do to support the status quo are not. Like the inherent biases and even prejudices that we have. We're not even aware of those. So what we're going to try to do is shine some light so you can begin to see these things going on inside you and begin developing the principles and practices needed to become a conscious. Conscious leadership is a process of knowing yourself and developing a sustainable relationship with the world in which you live. And I say a sustainable relationship. It's a relationship in balance. There's just as much energy that's flowing out to the world as much energy is flowing back to the world. It is a symbiotic relationship where it takes care of you and you take care of it. That isn't what we have in so much of our business world, and certainly not in our political arena either, because people aren't interested in taking care of anything other than the interest of the moment. And sometimes they are so wrapped up in what it is that they lose track of the fact that they lose sight of the fact that their humanity is being sold off in the process. You're going to need to become loving and caring and aware. If you are going to move smoothly into this new future that is going to interact with this world of chaos that's going on around us. Otherwise, you're going to get swept up in it too, and you're going to go play their game. But if you're playing their game, we'll never change. We'll never get where we want to go. And you may never build a life that really serves you, a life that makes you at peace, that makes you happy, that fulfills you. At the same time, it builds up everyone else. Hopefully, we're going to get to a point somewhere down the road where when we act, we will act from a place that expands others. We act for their expansion and not at their expense. But that's not what we have. What we have now is a system that encourages getting to yourself and then punishes you if you get too much or if you do it in a way that harms others. Well, what we want to do is make it so that we don't have to have the need for that harm. We don't want big brother standing over us, dictating what to do. We don't need a strong government that's directing every little aspect of our lives or every little aspect of our business. If we take care of ourselves, that we need to take care of it. It starts with caring about each other and becoming the kind of people that we know that we can be inside. But we're going to have some reminders for you as we go forward. I can't really give you too many of them right now, but I can tell you that there are a lot. The list is going to be long. We got lots and lots and lots of stuff to talk about. We'll probably be starting with the principles and practices of conscious leadership, though who knows? It's not up to me. As I said, I just get here and what comes out, comes out. Perhaps you'd be interested in some of the backstory as to why we're here and who I am. Again, my name is John Dennison, and you can find me in many places on the internet. But my business site is at missionlaunch.com. I used to be a lawyer for 35 years. About 4 years ago, I ran into an illness. My gallbladder went out, threw me triggered a bout of pancreatitis. And I spent the next 4 months in intensive care. I nearly died, lingering most of those months, right at the edge. And I have more to say about some of the things that I learned during that period that I was in and what led me up to that and how those lessons might affect you and your efforts. But needless to say, what got me through was I repeated a mantra, I guess you would call it, an intention that I had been practicing for many years. When I had put myself into God's hands, I said, "Thy will be done." Now I was speaking to what I believe was a God within me, the master, some sort of an inner source to my own life that is connected to all of life. It's through this connection through this source that we are all connected. And as you begin to understand yourself and learn more, you will grow closer and closer to that source. But as you do, you will become more and more aware of your connection to everyone else. It is this spiritual foundation that I don't want to harp on, but I want you to understand that whatever you believe about your God and your source is what I want you to draw upon. I don't want to make you to go off and change what you believe. I want you to learn how to use it. I want you to learn how to use it and to make yourself what you want to be. Because if you're here and you're listening to me, then I believe that you want what I want. If you want a world where people care about each other, where people learn to live in peace, and where they all know that they're going to be able to live and not have to scramble just to survive, or risk being thrown out on the street, or not have the food on their table, or clothes on their back, or lights on, or whatever else it is that they need. We have to find a way to rebuild our society to accommodate those who do without, or those who do not have the means to be considered part of the haves. In my life, I've been lucky. I was a have most of my life. After my illness, I became a have-not. I lost my businesses. I nearly lost my life. lost all my money. I've had to start over. But many of you have had to do this too. But together, we're going to go through this process, and we're going to figure out how we can make it so that you can make it more easily, so that you can be a better person, and so that you can be a better leader as you go about your life in a way that others will see and want to follow. Not because, hey, follow me, I know where I'm going, let's go. But because you will live in a way that they want to emulate. They're going to want to be like you when we're done. You are the key to building a better world. It's not me. It's not the people in government. It's not the people working in these corporations. It's you. It's all about you. It's about you and your life. And as I say, about trying to raise your eyes so you're not looking at only your own affairs. You have to realize that your own affairs will always be seen from that prism of your own self-interest. But it's how you see your self-interest and what you see your self-interest as that matters. My self-interest is not just about me. My self-interest is about the kind of world that I live in. It's about the kind of things that I do and the way and the interactions I have with the people I love. And yes, even the interactions that I have with the people that I can't stand. We have to learn to live together. Our world is a mess, and it's going to take a new breed of leaders to get us through it. You can be one of those leaders, but to do so, you have to see where it is we're trying to go, and you have to consciously deal with the things that get in the way so you don't slip back into the old patterns of getting for yourself at other people's expense. This is the founding of conscious leadership. This is what we will be talking about, conscious leadership. In the process of that, we're going to be discussing some things called conscious business, or you may know it as conscious capitalism, which is the movement to practice conscious business or business consciously, as well as conscious citizenship, which is what are the rights, duties, and responsibilities of each of us as citizens of this new world that we want to create. These are the things that we're going to try to. These are the things that are going to set us apart. Not us at Mission Launch, but us, you, me, all the rest of us who are trying to work in this other world. We're trying to build a better, and that better tomorrow is going to be based upon what we do inside of us and how we use it to interact with the world around us. But we have to do it in such a way that others become just as enthusiastic about it as we are so that they adopt it for themselves. Because it's not going to do us any good to have a few people over here that consider themselves awakened or enlightened. And then you've got these other folks over here that are just doing harm to everybody and everything, and it gets in their way. Sometimes the way circumstances cause it. Sometimes the environment that they grew up in, and sometimes it's just something inside of them that just makes it plain old not care, or better yet, want to do harm. Whatever it is, we have to find a way to bring them along. None of us are going to get where we want to go as a species if we leave people behind. The world we're trying to get to is an inclusive world that welcomes all and nurtures all and expands all. It is that vision that is behind what we're doing at Mission Launch. I invite you to come to Mission Launch and check us out, or any of our other websites. Find us on the web, and I'll be talking about some of those. Go ahead now. This is being this is being done on our peace options track. Peaceoptions.com is also one of our other websites where we would take the same principles and we use them for, and help people apply them a lot. But we've taken this approach and applied it to business, where I spent all my life. We're going to take this and find a way to make it so that business can be done with heart. That's all we're talking about. Having a heart. I can't give you a heart. I can't make you care. But if you do, or if it's in there somewhere and you want to get it out, I invite you to come back and join us. Again, check us out at the Conscious Leadership Forum at missionlaunch.com so you can see what our upcoming events are. It's going to be every Wednesday afternoon, as we're planning right now. And we will be going forward to help you in any ways that we can. If you have questions, I invite you to send them at missionlaunch.com, and we'll be happy to try to include them or cover them in a future video. Thank you again so much for joining me today, and I hope our technical difficulties were not a problem for you, and we're going to find out after I watch this when we're done to see what I need to change. But again, we're working to change so that we can bring you the very best of what you need to make the difference that you can make in your world. God bless you indeed. My name is John. Go with love.